Yeah, well, another huge shift that's happening in America and across our Commonwealth as well is the shift in household makeup. And a lot of people, I think, especially people 50 and older, when we think about what does the quintessential American household look like, the nuclear family, we see mom and dad and two kids. And I'm certain that that model has been blown up a long time ago. When we look at population growth and the makeup of America today, we see a different nuclear family. We see a lot of shifting in the atoms that have taken place. So I can give you a couple of big examples. One is when you look at head of household, you traditionally would think about a two-headed household. Now a third of all households are headed by a single person. And it may be that they've lost someone, or it may be that they chose never to have someone. But a single head of household representing a third of our society is huge. And when you look deeper on who are these people that are heading up these single households, it predominantly is women. And this has profound implications. If the household, if there's a single head of households really headed by women, and if most households, the primary breadwinner is headed up by a female, then you have to think about the decision makers and what's going on inside the household. And I can tell you from a lot of the research that we do for financial institutions that want to help people plan for the future, they are trying to retrain people, mortgage brokers and investors, to stop looking at just the man in the conversation. That you need to spend at least half your time, if not more, focused on the female. But it has implications in terms of the decision on where people are going to live, and how we're going to market to them, and what kind of products we're going to offer. That the female preferences are taking on a much more dramatic and profound impact on decisions. Okay. Another big shift that we're seeing in the family makeup is the move back to multiple generation families. That the sad reality is that we haven't seen increases in real wages over the last 5 or 6 years, and the fact that more and more households are sort of living on the edge. Right now, 1 out of 5 have had a serious setback and lost 25% more of their disposable income in the last year, and that number used to be 10%. So there's been a doubling of that. So you have more and more people under financial stress, and it really runs across all the generations. And so as a consequence, when you understand that transportation, the cost for transportation and the cost for housing represent 50% of your income in terms of what you need to get by, that is so expensive that we're seeing now different generations of families coming together under one roof. So it's not just the parents and the children, but now you're having grandchildren and grandparents. So you're having multiple generations all under one roof. And this is the way it was in the 30s. But now the trend is that we're going back to that. We're going to see more and more of that. So right now we're at about 16% of households, and we think that's going to grow even higher. And so the consequence for developers and builders and real estate professionals is to think about living arrangements that give you some autonomy still living in that structure. There may be 2 entrances, for instance, on a house. There may be a couple of rooms that really are designated for older relatives, that they can still feel like they're independent, but yet they're part of that structure, that family structure. One of the things that forward-looking communities need to do is change their ordinances to allow garages to be converted into granny flats. And we're seeing a lot of communities doing just that.